Ladies and gentlemen, today we are with Akis Evangelidis, co-founder of Nothing at the Global Business Summit. Pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
I look forward to having interesting conversation on our incredible journey into technology. What are the emerging trends that will be driving the future? Now, as the co-founder of Nothing, a consumer tech company, what inspired you to start a company focused on, redefining the tech trends? And you have a very unique approach to your products. What was the inspiration behind that?
I think let's not talk about inspiration, but also more about like sort of what didn't inspire us at the time. And as kind of tech enthusiasts, we kind of grow up with the launch of the first iPhone, the first iPod. Those were incredible products. That made us excited. We were kind of waking up to or staying up late at night to kind of watch the Apple keynotes. So we're super enthusiastic about tech. But yeah, in the recent year, we had felt at the time that sort of that excitement has kind of gone down a bit. We set to kind of create Nothing. The primary idea was like, okay, part of that kind of feeling of, we call that sea of sameness, where everything sort of looked the same. We're kind of a bit bored by the way products look. So, the sort of immediate thing we thought about was about design differentiation. Everything looks the same out there. How can we make something a bit different? So that's where we set to kind of create this whole very unique visual identity around Nothing, and decided to launch our first product with the sort of main thing to break through was around the design and introducing the sort of transparency. So this was the first product we launched A1 back in 2021 summer.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sort of puts us on the radar of the industry by selling over 500,000 units.
I have seen the products myself. A lot of my colleagues and friends are users of the product. I think it's fairly successful in our country at this point of time. And you're right, it's the uniqueness in design and the simplicity in the user experience that is definitely driving the need and the consumer demand. I know there are organizations, there are consumer brands which are toying with artificial intelligence, and I think it's pretty nascent, it's just a start. Do you have any plans of integrating AI into your products, and how does it look like for you?
I think it's definitely a very interesting kind of trend that's currently taking place, where we're definitely seeing a lot of use cases that could be beneficial to the user. So it's definitely something we actively looking at. But like if we look back at the sort of Nothing journey, yeah, we did start with kind of design differentiation, then quite rapidly gravitate towards software with our first smartphone phone one that launched in summer 2021. And again, kind of bringing a new take on how we kind of interacting with our smartphones overall, with the kind of the glyph interface of the bag and the software. So that sort of enabled us to get to a stage where we are perceived as a real challenger brand, and now we have the sort of capabilities from a team standpoint in terms of engineering power and so on to kind of build a flagship level experience that we kind of introduced then with Phone 2. And yeah, now it's about like, looking at different trends. I think everything that's happening around AI hardware is super interesting. We definitely see a lot of potential to it. And we've seen a few kind of players, would that be kind of the humane product, Rabbit R1. Those are interesting take. I think it's not it just yet. Therefore, yeah, it's definitely something we're looking into.
Speaking of disruption and speaking of innovation, brands can try to innovate themselves as much as they would like to, but then you also need to keep in mind that your products have to appeal to a diverse set of audience, right? India itself is such a diverse country. You go to and you've traveled fair bit. This is not the first time that you're here. You understand the kind of diversity that we live in, and yours is an international product. So how do you cater to such a diverse market? What sort of thought process goes behind developing your products?
Yeah, I think as a new brand for us, it's pretty much about also being around, and therefore to be around in this space, you definitely need volumes. Luckily enough, I mean, if you look at the kind of smartphone industry, it's quite a mature stage. I think the kind of the smartphone usage doesn't differentiate so much from kind of different locations around the world. But what very specific to India, and it's actually super fascinating, and I think this is also one of the reasons how kind of India is growing to this tech hub is audience here. Everyone is super tech savvy and very switched on when it comes to tech.
We have a very young audience, we have a very young population.
Young population, very kind of switched on when it comes to tech. They understand the products, understand what they're buying. So it's very interesting. Whereas in other part of the world, like this kind of tech enthusiast audience is a lot smaller. So for us, quite since the early days, we've seen this kind of organic traction in India because people are willing to experiment new brands. They kind of on the top of all the latest trends. And this you can kind of sense that energy, and I think India is to become I was reading last time the third largest economy by 2027, right?
Yes.
And I think that's definitely this energy we've been feeling and all the momentum around nothing as well as a brand that came from India. I think we can definitely sense that kind of energy.
Aspiring to be the third largest economy comes with its own sort of unique challenges. One of the things that the entire world is right now grappling through is how to reduce your carbon footprint, how to cater to sustainability, being much more optimized that way. What's your take as nothing? How's your approach to sustainability?
Yeah, I mean for us, super important. I think you cannot aspire to start a consumer tech company in the 21st century without thinking about sustainability. So for us, it was like a default choice right from the get-go. Since the right beginning, we've been. It's a step-by-step process. Right from the beginning, we onboard a third party, which has been tracking all our carbon footprint. Because then you have this trend all of a sudden that like sustainability is a selling point, and then all of a sudden you have people going like, oh, wow, we need to kind of backtrack all our carbon footprint emission, offset them, and putting all this in place just to kind of look good. But for us, it's been something that's been at the core since day one. This is why we're keen to kind of ensure we're kind of tracking our carbon footprint emission. That's like step one, and then step two is like how you kind of start kind of reducing. Year one, actually, we on the year one on our first product, we started buying carbon footprint, but then we thought about it like, is this the best use of our resources? As a kind of new brand, we had limited resources in terms of investment that would go into how we could kind of make our product more sustainable. Therefore, it was really about deciding where these focus would go, and so therefore we stopped buying carbon footprint to offset the carbon footprints of products and really focus on like introducing more recycled material, introducing more kind of processes, green processes across our assembling plants, and so on. And actually, we've seen that with each product we launch, we kind of make more progress, and it was great to see that Phone 2 last year was actually our first second generation product that had a lower carbon footprint than Phone 1.
Okay.
So sort of showcasing real progress.
And step in the right direction.
And if anything, Phone 2 should have had a higher carbon footprint because the screen is bigger, the processor is more performant, and so on, but we managed to reduce it, so it's putting our money where our mouth is without kind of doing too much greenwashing and really kind of leading by actions. And as we grow, as you get more leverage towards the supply chain, you have to drive even more change.
As a co-founder of an organization which has set the benchmark really high, which has disrupted the market with its design language, with its product philosophy, what's your personal leadership style that people who are listening to this could get inspired from?
I think for us, the driving force since day one, it's been to be very close to the users, understand why we're doing things, and so that everyone involved in nothing understands that as well. And being super aligned on that in terms of where everything is going, how do we do things, why do we do stuff, I think really helped to kind of create a very strong team. Like first in terms of going in the right direction, but also as we've gone through our journey, bringing more and more talent. And I think now when we're looking at our engineering team especially, I think we have one of the strongest teams. Not the biggest one, for sure, when looking at our competitors, but probably one of the biggest, strongest ones from a talent density standpoint. So I think this has been crucial for us, and I think this also has enabled us to kind of innovate more and really deliver on the products, even though we've been around for only 3 years, especially with Front 2 that was competing with the best flagships out there. And I was actually seeing a user survey where Nothing OS, our software, was number 2, right after Apple iOS. Shout out to Apple, of course. but yeah, definitely heading in the right
But I
direction.
agree, I have to agree with that. But the question really is about you personally. What's your leadership style when you are in office? What do you tell your team every morning, being a new kid in the block, yet creating such furore in the market?
I think that's it, it's about being the new kid in the block, in the way, and that comes in terms of, infusing this sense of creativity. We need, as a new brand going against the biggest brands in the world, we need to be creative, we need to innovate, and not only on the product, but even on the way we do marketing, how we launch our products, how we talk about our products. This is why also we're trying to have a much more kind of transparent approach to our marketing, with Carl doing a lot of YouTube videos. We're kind of trying to...
And he started doing reviews as well.
Yeah, exactly. Reviews and, things that people kind of relate, and kind of building back that sort of level of emotional connection as well with tech. Because, for so long, because everything has been a bit kind of uninspiring or a bit of the same, there has been that distance, right?
A lot of cookie cutter formula. One size fits all.
Exactly, and it has created that kind of distance with the audience. So for us, being very close to our audience has been, it's part of that process. And I think, from the way we kind of work and with all the teams is continuously kind of infusing that spirit. We are a challenger brand. We cannot afford, let's say our competitors or the biggest brand out there could do it, then we shouldn't do it. We need to take another way around. We need to be more creative, more strategic. Because we'll never have the, especially financial resources to compete, especially when it comes to marketing, so it's really about kind of continuously driving that kind of innovation, remaining on top of the trends, thinking in a very kind of strategic and focused way, and always creativity. So the sense of everything for us, it started with being very creative about the design, and that kind of cascades down, and I think it's really important to always show the example and invite people and embrace that creativity.
Right.
Thrive on diversity is one of our company values, where we not only bringing people, for instance, only from the industry, but from all over the world, from different industries, kind of bring that sense of creativity as well, and empowering that creativity. So, all those factors are quite important to us.
Very interesting. I like the fact that you are always on the toes and you're always pushing the team as well to think out of the box. I personally like the fact that you look at your competitors and some of the biggest names, and if they are doing something that you won't do that, you look at something which is truly game-changing, a bit more disruptive. Right, that's incredible. It was a pleasure talking to you, and
Pleasure, man.
wish you all the luck.
Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you.